Hey guys, got a simple and delicious dish for you. This is a summer item, but you can have it any time of the year. This is a French tomato tart. Let's get started. First things first, make sure you have some good vine-ripened tomatoes. These are looking very plump and juicy, and you're going to need quite a few of them. I'm using 5. I'm just going to take them off the vine and I'm going to give them a good washing, and then after that, we're going to slice them up. Make sure that your knife is very, very sharp when you do this. It makes slicing a lot easier. Although you should use a sharp knife anyway, no matter what. A dull knife is actually a lot more dangerous than a sharp knife. After that's done, I'm going to preheat my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to get my puff pastry ready. We're not going to make dough from scratch here. I'm just going to use the puff pastry from the box from the store, which is a lot easier because if you have ever made your own puff pastry before, you know that it takes a very long time to make. And I have made it before, and maybe one of these days in the future I'll show you how to do it. But anyway, I'm taking one sheet here that I got. It's been thawed out, and I'm going to roll it out a little bit. I want it to be bigger than it already is. I'm going to be placing this on a baking sheet that is 18 by 13 inches, so you want this to be close to that. And if it ends up being larger than your baking sheet, don't panic, you can still work with it. I'm taking my baking sheet and I'm lining it with tin foil, and I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil on it just to make sure it doesn't stick. I'm going to flatten my puff pastry right onto the tray. I'm gently flattening this out almost like a blanket. You don't want to be too aggressive because you don't want it to tear. And again, if it ends up being slightly bigger than your baking sheet, it's okay because we're going to actually fold up the sides a little bit. And this is going to make basically a crust, almost like a pizza. And when this is done and you go all the way around the entire perimeter of your puff pastry, we're going to actually take a fork and we're just going to flatten it as best as we can. This will make a little bit of a pattern, but this will also guarantee that it is flattened on there. And if it looks ugly, and yeah, this does look slightly ugly, what's really cool about puff pastry is that once you bake it, it always comes out looking amazing, and you'll see what I mean in just a couple of minutes. The next ingredient we're going to use is Dijon mustard, and we're going to use quite a lot of it. I'm saying it right now, if you don't like tomatoes and you don't like mustard, you're not going to like this dish. I happen to love mustard, so this is perfect for me. And this is going to be the base of our tart. And the next thing we're going to use are breadcrumbs. And I'm just using plain breadcrumbs. You can use any types of breadcrumbs you'd like, but the reason why this is here is to absorb the juices from the tomatoes. Tomatoes do dry out in the oven, but the breadcrumbs really do help with that, and we're going to be putting all of our tomatoes on there. And yeah, it looks like this is a lot, but I promise you, this is going to end up being pretty sturdy when it comes out of the oven. I'm adding a generous amount of salt and pepper to taste, and the next thing we're going to do is add a certain herb that I haven't used in a very long time, and that is fresh rosemary. My mom gave me this. Thank you, Mom, for my rosemary bush. I really appreciate it. And if you guys have been following me since the very beginning of my channel, you'll know that I used to use rosemary in almost everything, but I haven't used it in quite a while, so it feels good to use it again. So anyway, I washed it, I chopped it up, I put it on top of my tart, drizzled on an obscene amount of olive oil, and this is going to go into a 400 degree Fahrenheit oven for 40 to 45 minutes. And after 40 to 45 minutes, it's going to look absolutely incredible. It smells amazing. I let this cool off for about 10 minutes before I started slicing into it. If you dig into it right away out of the oven, it's just going to fall apart on you and be very sloppy. But this is looking and smelling amazing. You can actually smell the mustard, I'm not going to lie. But the tomatoes have a very good fresh smell, and as you can see, they did dry out in the oven, and the bottom of this is not soggy at all. It looks amazing, smells amazing, and yes, it does also taste amazing. The first thing you get hit with is definitely the mustard, but the next thing you taste are those fresh, delicious tomatoes. The crispiness from the puff pastry just goes very well with this. You could use pizza dough if you wanted to, but there's just something about the puff pastry that makes this extra special. It's light and crispy, it's not heavy at all. I wouldn't recommend making this for dinner per se. I'd rather have this as an appetizer, and it would be great at a party. Also, the rosemary on top. Again, it's been a long time since I've had it, so eating that is very nostalgic for me. Fresh rosemary is normally very strong, but because it roasted in the oven, it has become a lot more subtle, and the olive oil just completes it all. It has a nice fruity, nutty, herbal flavor to it, and it also helped the tomatoes and the rosemary crisp up a little bit in the oven. So yeah, guys, this is actually a very nice item to try out. I really recommend making it. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed this one. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.